This is the Slots and Sockets podcast. I am one of your hosts, IRD Moose, live from my mom's basement studio, and my partner in crime, who is very festive today,
Turbo Penguin, who I'm not coming from my mom's basement.
No, you're coming more from the attic, but still.
No, I'm not in the attic. The attic's the next floor up.
Okay, fair enough. Almost
Just
the attic.
The second story. The second story.
So we've got some interesting news today. AMD had
Hold up.
Oh,
Merry Christmas.
Well,
Goodness gracious.
Merry Christmas to you and to everyone watching.
There we go. And so I've got the more festive hat.
Better fitting and more festive.
Festive. It does actually fit a little bit better over the headset. So,
it is kind of hard to fit things over your head. Yeah. we've had this discussion with regards to headsets in the past. Plenty of times.
My noggin is larger than an average noggin, apparently.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Okay. So we had a bunch of stuff. Now, what's really interesting, and we've got some really cool stuff that's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So, real quick, we will be there. Well, sorry, I will be there for launch of 5000 series. And I am hopeful to have some pre-launch information because I'm going to have a couple of meetings with NVIDIA as they release before CES. So we're hopeful that we are going to have some really cool slides directly from NVIDIA before the LAN goes. We'll be able to take I'm going to take as many photos as I can get my little hands on. But the other cool thing is that while I'm there pre-CES, is that I am going to have early access to the floor of CES. So I am going to run around and start taking cool videos and photos of CES on January 6th on that Monday and see if we can find some cool stuff. So if there is something that you guys expect to see at CES that looks really fun and exciting, and you want me to run around and look for it, put a comment in below and tell me what you're looking for, and I will do my best to at least get some pictures and maybe even some information on some of these things. But with that
Reporter
being said,
Turbo Penguin at your service.
I will. I absolutely will. So I don't know how much time I'll have, but I'm told that going to the event I'm going, I will get full CES access. I am thinking that I might even stay Monday night and leave Tuesday.
So you might actually get to see CES when it's actually open.
I might actually get to see CES legit. So
okay, cool.
I
wish I could go.
I'm not gonna promise anything, but I will for sure at least be there. And like I was looking at my schedule, and it looks like we have there's a presentation on Saturday in the evening, West Coast time. And then there is another presentation on Sunday.
Okay.
The 5th. Both of those are going to be directly NVIDIA related. But then the keynote is not until Monday at 7 p.m. So it'll be a little bit of everything. My guess is that between those two NVIDIA meetings, we'll have the bulk of it. And unless I have something saying I can't say something, then I can share anything and everything that I get my little feisty little eyes and camera on.
Well, one request I definitely would make is see if you can swing by the AMD booth when you're cut loose and see if we can get some juicy details on the new leaks that just came out about RDNA 4.
Now, do we think, now hold up, are we expecting an announcement from AMD at the same time at CES for the 9070?
Hypothetically, yes. Usually AMD will announce some of their stuff at CES during their conference. I just don't know when it's actually going to be. So I mean, if you can extend it and go to that part, rock it, man, please, because it's
I'm trying to think.
there's a lot of gaming goodness to be had for our viewers.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because I don't know if there is an AMD keynote in 2025 CES. I'm looking right now.
I believe there was one on the schedule.
Conference. Yeah, I'm just looking to see when that is. It will be Monday at 11 a.m.
Ooh.
I might be able to make that.
Looks like we might have a couple of special episodes to record that week. This might be
interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll see. If I can get in before, there's a chance you can kind of get some information before. So we'll see. But let's talk about the release, because I think originally I sent this the leak to you, the 9070 XT.
Yep.
And you thought I had mistyped it, and it's not.
Did. I thought you actually were meant to say 9700 XT, which would make sense because this would be right around the 21st anniversary of the original 9700 XT, which launched in 2003. October of 2003. So
let's
it's
dive
very
into this,
interesting.
I think there's some meaning here of what we're expecting, because I think a lot of people were expecting 8800 XT, and I think we were to be honest. I mean,
everything I saw said 88.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were expecting that, and I think the one thing we need to keep in mind here with this is they're also going to have an 8000 series GPU. It's just that 8000 series is going to be the Halo Strix GPUs. And I actually really like that, because I think there's a really big difference between what you get with a laptop APU and what you get with a discrete laptop GPU and a desktop GPU. I do believe there, because if I put a 5060 or a 4060 laptop dedicated, discrete graphics versus a desktop 5060, they are not going to perform the same. They're not. So I'm just very interested
to inject that meme.
No, they are absolutely not the same. So I'm very interested to see. I like that there's a differentiation between the two of them. So Strix, but I also believe that this is more AMD positioning themselves to say, look, we have an APU, but our graphics on the APU doesn't suck. I think that's kind of the notion of what we're expecting to see. Halo Strix is going to look like possibly very aggressive into the laptop market. I could also see Halo Strix doing very well with like a set top box, like a Minis Forum. Could we possibly see something like this into a Steam machine? I absolutely think that's a real thing. It could happen. But I also think if we see this, we also could see some really fun stuff that you could play. I mean, you think about that. If you had a Minis Forum that could get you a 4070 or 4070 Ti performance in an APU that uses 35, 50 watts between everything, you hook up a couple of wireless Xbox controllers and Steam machine and make your own Steam machine. I think that just looks so good.
Or an instant LAN party box.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm taking my main rig to CES. So, I mean, it will be a challenge to move it that way. It would be very interesting. And I will say this, I would be very interested in looking at something like that, even if I had to spend $700, $800, $900. The notion that I could have something that I could just throw in a backpack and go, buy a lot, have someone let me borrow a monitor and instantly play games. So I love this
exactly
idea.
Well, and I think too, one of the things that Valve had said is, we're not going to do a second gen Steam Deck until there's a major change in mobile graphics. And, to be able to fit a 4070's worth of power onto a 50-watt CPU, I think would classify. And so we haven't had any specific rumors or anything like that. It's just my speculation. But if I were a betting moose, I would say Valve might very seriously be looking at building a Strix Halo-based second-gen Steam Deck. Because that's,
really interesting. In the some of these leaks and some of the press releases, buried in there, they're talking about FSR4.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing is that even on the NVIDIA side, there has been some unique leaks. I'm going to be very interested to see what this looks like and the details of this.
Yeah.
But there is some talks of a DLSS next gen. And so I think, could we now, the loaded question is we get the AI cores, right? The RT cores, or what this bump that AMD is doing. Are we going to see like an FSR4 that really utilizes those ray tracing core count SMUs to a better extent, and will we see a better looking FSR? Well, I hope so.
Yeah,
and then the other piece is, and I really think this is a big deal, is as NVIDIA has gotten better at these RT cores, I think they're doing a much better job at leveraging how to use them. Yeah. And I think that we could very easily see a DLSS 4, because if I remember correctly, we did see some stuff that there was, a DLSS 4 not far off. In fact,
right. Well, DLSS doesn't use the RT cores. DLSS uses the tensor cores, which are specifically designed for matrix math, which is what most graphics and AI calculations rely on.
Here it is.
So,
Inno3D had there was a leak from Inno3D where it talked about advanced DLSS technology.
Okay.
And so the notion is that it's most likely going to be something that goes alongside with the RTX 5000 series. The question is what does that mean? Does this mean that we've got another version of AI, of RT cores? Is this the next gen of RT? What does that look like? Does that mean it's more like AI focused? I don't know. That's a really good question. And I could very easily see some of these things. I really think CES this year from a graphics card is going to be where a lot of the hype is really about.
Yeah.
So the question is like, how does it look like? And second, what does it look like? Because the other half of it is there's a chance I might be walking away CES with a fancy 5 series card. Who knows?
That would be very
Wouldn't
nice.
It be nice to just NVIDIA just give it to me. You can use it. I'll pop it in with my 9800X3D, and I'll start doing. By the way, if you have any requests, if I win something, I should just pop that sucker in and start testing.
Heck yeah. Do it. So. Why not? I mean, you got your rig with you. The hard part's going to be the water kit, but that's you just.
I have a plan. I'm going to bring some stuff.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to bring rock it,
because I can bypass the GPU. Oh, I need
that
to
shouldn't be a big deal.
I was thinking I need to buy a new power supply.
Well, we did talk about some back on the Black Friday special.
We did.
So, I mean, with this 9070 stuff, AMD is completely changing their part numbering. So, we've covered the 8000 series is going to be Strix Halo, which I think makes a lot of sense because Strix Halo is kind of 3.5 RDNA 3.5 gen, not necessarily 3 gen or 4 gen. It's got a little bit of both. And with 4th gen, they're going up to the 9070. So my question is, with all the rumors that we've had so far, with them placing this in the same class as the coming 5070, where do we think it's gonna land in terms of performance? Because the stuff we've seen about the 5070.
That I think is the load, and this is why I'm starting to. I was surprised that it has 7, but I also think that they're probably looking at this insane. So the notion that we heard is that it was going to be 4070 Ti to maybe 4080 Super rasterization, but very similar RT performance. Now, I still think that that's probably true, but now we got to talk about the next generation.
Right.
They're going to be releasing this technically before 5000 series gets released the same day in the evening.
Right.
So, with that being said, I really think it's probably going to be competitive with possibly a 5070.
Which, with the rumored price point, I
But
believe that was
then,
$649.
I mean, I thought the 5070 was going to be competitive with a 4080, wasn't it? Isn't that the price that
typically that's the way that go? Yeah, usually the 70 of the next generation is on par, maybe a little bit faster than the 80 of the previous.
If that's the case, okay, so let's just talk about this, because the stuff that we're thinking we're going to see is a 5070 12 gig versus a 9070 XT 16 gig. I'm really hacked off that NVIDIA is releasing a 70 series card with only freaking 12 gigs
and an 80 series card with only 16.
I know. It's almost like it needs to be 32, then 24, then 16, and then the bottom needs to be 12. I am going to be so hacked off if 5060 comes out and has 8. I know it's going to happen.
It's going to.
It's going to.
There's going to be an 8 and a 12. And that I think is the
reason. There's no reason.
No, the reason is NVIDIA thinks they can scrounge more money for no good reason.
Why don't they just make it a 5060 with like 12 gigs, but call it GDDR6? Like, don't even give 6X, right? Just give GDDR6 and say you get more, but it's last gen, but you get a little bit of both. And you could do it the other way, and then the other half of it is the bit bus. You would do a smaller bit bus for someone like that because it's an older gen, but I don't know. Maybe that requires them to not be able to use cut down versions.
That's probably what it is. More than likely, it's the memory controller on the chip can't handle GDDR6. But yeah, I mean, I completely hear your frustration there. I share it. My thinking though, and I've just kind of been thinking about why AMD would completely redo their numbering to directly align with NVIDIA's numbering, which they used to align before.
Well,
but I have a feeling this might be preparing for the next generation for CDNA or UDNA.
Okay. Here's the other thing, and this is going back to the 9070 and the 5070. Okay, some of the leaks are coming out and saying 649. Okay, the numbers we've seen on 5070 is between 599 and 699.
Yep.
Okay,
and that leak price is right in the middle.
We have said this whole time, RDNA 4 is going to do well if its performance and price makes sense. It has to be a value proposition. Okay,
if they're on par,
even at 12 gigs, I asked the question: if I'm going to buy it at 649 and then you can get a 5070 at 699, why are you buying RDNA 4? I think the vast majority of gamers are going to look at that and be like, "Thank you, 5070." Cha-ching.
Yeah, and they're gonna get stuck with less VRAM.
You say, "Yeah, I'll take less VRAM." It's going to be a worse card.
Yeah,
but I think the problem is that gamers are going to buy the RTX all over, and I think the reason why it's going to be like this is because I don't understand why we're at this price point. It's the
It's
dumbest thing ever.
It's down to brand
I
recognition. Like
really
when you're
hope that
talking,
that part of the leak is just straight up wrong.
I do too. Yeah. No, well, that's the thing is like when they're the same price, comparable performance across the board, people are going to end up buying the NVIDIA card just because of the name, because everybody knows NVIDIA. I mean, AMD is not an unknown brand, but
I look at this and I look, I have an AMD card right now. Okay. I want to see AMD do really well. I want Radeon to do really well. Okay. When it's all said and done, I look at this and I ask the dumb question. Okay. Am I getting less performance because I have an AMD card because I've kind of gone that direction? Mm-hmm. And at the beginning, when I first bought this card, I thought for myself, I said, you know what? You've got Xbox, you got PlayStation, they're both using the same stuff. Developers are going to be doing a lot of enhancements. I thought that we would see some optimizations.
Yeah.
And I'll say I was absolutely wrong. It was straight up absolutely wrong. I think it's very clear that unless you get a large volume of installs, that they're not going to implement this as much as they could.
Yeah.
And if AMD is going to come out, they are going to, if they do the exact same thing and it's $649 and it's going to be competitive with the 5070, goodness gracious,
it's not going to sell.
AMD is going to shoot themselves right between the head again. You cannot sell the 9700, the 9070 XT, whatever the hell you're going to call the thing. You can't sell it at $649. It's not going to sell very well. And if you're trying to go after if the goal is to sell a lot of these,
right? Which I would hope it is.
That's like the exact opposite. I think the notion with RDNA 4 was the notion was get RDNA 4. It's going to be a rasterization boost, or it's going to be a rasterization enhancement, and it's going to be ray tracing that doesn't suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now because they fixed the ray tracing, they're going to charge as much as NVIDIA. Guys, you can't do this.
Right. And here's the thing. I don't think these leaks are accidental. I think AMD might be strategically leaking it at this point. I'm wondering if AMD
do you think they're testing the market? Do you think they're kind of tiptoeing and trying to hear what people say?
What did they do with the 9000 series CPUs? They launched them high and dropped the price.
Well, that was a bad thing because everyone knew X3D was coming.
Exactly. I
mean, that was...
I think they might be playing the same game. Yeah, I think they might be playing the same game with RDNA 4. This is just me completely bloviating, spitballing, whatever you want to call it. But I think they might be planning to launch, at least announce a high price, let NVIDIA set their price, and then maybe sell a few cards and then say, we're knocking $100 off, or we're knocking $50 off. And that's where AMD gets back into that. Okay, we're at the same performance, but we're $50 less, and we got more VRAM, so you could run 4K.
I mean,
good luck running 4K on a 5070.
I mean,
it's a position that just really sucks. Because I want to see AMD do awesome. I want to see them sell out legitimately.
I just feel like right now everyone wants AMD and Intel to do better because NVIDIA just doesn't feel like they have any competition.
They don't.
And if that's the case, then I just asked the dumb question. Like, I wonder, like, if I'm that far behind, okay, and if they're going to compete with 5070, that means that you're 2 card levels down on your competition. And we were all hoping that we would see possibly an 80 series, but even then at 50 at the 70 series card, like that third string ring down, like if your best is there, VRAM is only going to help you so much, because the other half of it is they're gonna kick the snot out of you when the 5070 Ti with 16 gig comes out, and it's going to be a full-on uncut. It's G304 or whatever the core is. That's going to come out the second half of 25.
It's going to be interesting in the coming weeks for sure. And I honestly hope AMD doesn't launch it at 650, but if they do, I really hope they drop that price quick, because I
almost wonder if but my question is, we know that our RDNA 3 is not selling well.
Yeah.
We know 7000 series has had a rough go at getting things moved off the shelf. And from what we hear is that nothing is really selling because everyone's waiting for this.
Yep. Everybody knows 5000 series is coming. The only thing that's really selling is the 4080s.
So why buy? And the honest truth is, like, you're really hoping Santa does not bring you a graphics card for Christmas, unless it's stolen from somewhere else,
or an IOU for a graphics card to be purchased later.
Would make sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's I have no words, because that price just does not make sense to me. The numbering scheme makes sense if they carry it forward to UDNA and they use that to legitimately say, okay, we are genuinely on par or beating NVIDIA's comparable part. And I don't know, man. But I think on that bombshell, we can call it a show for this evening. And thank you all for watching. And I forget all the things I normally say. Oh, wait, no. Yep. Remember to like and subscribe. Drop some comments in. We got some special shows coming up in January around CES, thanks to Turbo Penguin getting some time off from work. Sadly, I wasn't able to secure the time off myself, but we'll work on getting you guys some special content together. And until next time, have fun storming the castle.
Take care, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's.
Yep. Good night. Merry Christmas.